Hello, today I'm going to be talking about the Lenovo ThinkPad X200 Tablet. I saw some videos on this, but they're all like 6-7 years old at the time of this video. And since I got one now, I thought I would talk about it a little bit and actually show you what it looks like and if it's still worth it in the year 2017. So first, we can go around the tablet and some of the ports. Mine is a little damaged, so it's not exactly the most amazing condition. But so here we have a USB port, Ethernet, VGA, the vent port for air, your 20-volt AC adapter. Nothing around on the back, just the 9-volt battery, which does stick out. But I think that's a good thing, and I'll show you why later. You have another USB port, Kensington lock. This is the port for the Stylus. It can be hidden away. Very handy. You have your modem port for your phone, which pretty sure most people aren't using anymore. Dedicated microphone jack, dedicated headphone jack, and a USB port. And missing a little piece of my case there. And then this is actually where your hard drive can go, a 2.5 inch. Right now I have an SSD in there, and actually I took the screw off, but I have it, don't worry, didn't lose it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then around the front, I forgot, you have your SD card reader. As far as I know, it only does standard size SD cards, so don't throw your micro SD card in there. A latch, and then nothing else around the front. So as you saw, to open the ThinkPad, you gotta press the little latch and to open it, and here it is. All right, now you're probably thinking, is this still good in 2017? Well, I would like to say yes. Yes, absolutely. If you throw an SSD in this thing, it's actually still really fast. The only thing is that it uses SATA 2. So if you use a SATA 3 drive, you won't be getting the full speeds that you possibly could. But that's okay. I think it doesn't really make that much of a difference on a machine this old, since you're more limited by your processor and your RAM speed than your disk speed. But coming from a traditional hard drive to an SSD, it's blazing fast. But other than the hardware or the outside, we can look at the inside. This is one of the older laptop versions that Lenovo made. Give you a shot of it here. Now this doesn't have a trackpad. That's one of the reasons why I bought it and why I like it still. Because when I'm typing, my thumb usually rests somewhere right here, or my palm actually. So this part of my palm. And I don't like it. I've used so many other computers where my thumb or my palm will rub that part and move the mouse pointer. And it is so incredibly annoying. It is so annoying to have to deal with that. But this doesn't have that, so you don't even have that problem. You do have 3 separate hardware buttons. You have your left click, right click, and your middle click, which can be used with the track point as a scroll. But also, I don't know if you can tell, but the screen actually can lay almost flat, or even just a little bit more than the actual, or with the body, which is pretty neat. This model doesn't have the overly large delete key or escape key. Some people might like that. I kind of wish that I had that, but that's okay. You do have dedicated mute, volume down, volume up buttons, and the Think Vantage button. And then, of course, your power button. The X200 tablet. There's the hinge. Most other non-tablet ThinkPads have the hinges on each side. Because this is a tablet or a convertible tablet, it swivels right here. And you do also have some extra buttons. You have an on-off button with a lock, so you can lock that if you don't want to worry about pressing it. I'm not exactly sure what that button does. I'm sure it does something. I don't use Windows, so some of these buttons don't work. You have a rotate button, so if I do that, the screen will rotate. And it rotates pretty fast, actually. I think this is a lock, so if I press that, it'll lock the screen, or lock the computer. That does something. I haven't figured out what it does on Linux yet. That's what I mostly use this with, is Linux. The screen, it's on the lowest brightness right now. It's kind of hard to see, but if I crank it up, it's decent. Let's see if I can get in a little closer. It's decent. Plenty of, I don't think the camera really picks it up, but it is definitely bright enough for normal use. This is a little wallpaper that I created myself. Right, but the most important thing for a ThinkPad tablet is obviously the tablet feature, which you're going to want to use because it's a tablet. So let's look at the pen here real quick. Alright. It's a fairly simple pen. It only has one button, and it does come with an eraser tip. It is Wacom, so that's cool, I guess, if you're really into Wacom, or Wacom, however you prefer to say it. It's a pretty small pen. Feels kind of just like a regular Bic pen. Feels pretty nice. It has the same type of rubbery feel that the outside of the case has. If you're familiar with any kind of ThinkPads, they have this kind of it's not rubber. It's almost like a silicone-ish kind of feel. It's really smooth. But this has that along this outside part of the body. And then this part is plastic. And it does have a little pen holder. You can see that. So you could put it in your pocket or wherever else if you want to hang it in a red tip. Right. But the most important part, or the coolest part of the X200 tablet is the tablet feature. So I'll show you real quick a few things that I use it for, or that I like to use it for. Right now I'm running Ubuntu MATE, or MATE, or however you want to say it. And out of the box, without installing anything, most of the stuff worked. Definitely the digitizer worked, or the stylus worked, or I'm sorry, whatever you call it. It worked. I didn't have to install anything out of the box, and it tracked perfectly fine. Most of the buttons worked, actually, like I was doing the rotation. That worked out of the box. I didn't have to install anything like that. This is 1704, by the way. I think 1604 probably works also, but I'm not entirely sure of that. So yeah, the pen does work. I like to use a program called Xournal, or I think that's how you say that. I'm not entirely sure. It's Xournal, something like that. So, oh, actually, you know what? Let me show you this way. It's kind of not obvious that, you would want to draw on your computer like this over the keyboard and possibly touching it and stuff. It's not really ergonomic that way. So that's why you can flip the screen around. And actually on the hinge, I don't know if you can see it right there, the hinge actually goes back and forth like that. Whoops, put my computer to sleep. Hopefully that didn't mess up the recording. Okay, so you can flip it around like that. Now you can draw on your tablet however you so like. In this specific way, the top of the screen is here, the bottom is right there. But you could also flip it in like a portrait mode, portrait style. Actually, that's how I usually like to do it. I like to hold the battery in my right hand, in my left hand, because I'm right-handed, and then draw on the screen like so, right? And of course, you got to lock the latch. There you go. Lock the latch, and then you can draw on it like that. Now, right now, the tablet is still as if it were horizontal, right? Or facing the normal way you'd view it. So it's not really going to show you on the recording what it actually looks like. But you can do a few things like I'm showing you here. Just draw. This isn't a super intensive demonstration, but just to show you. You can write some things, and also I have this programmed so that if I press the button, it creates like a highlighter. There you go. And you can sort of highlight your text. So this is if you want to create, if you wanted to write notes, you could do that. Let's see. If I wanted to say writing a note, obviously my handwriting is not good. It feels very different writing on a screen versus on paper. It is definitely different. It's just something you have to get used to. But at least with the X200, you do have some options. So you have pen and touch. You can enable the pressure sensitivity. The pressure sensitivity. So it does have a moderate amount. See, so if I'm drawing kind of light and then I really mash on it, that's kind of what it looks like. It's not the most sensitive. This is, again, kind of older technology, so you really shouldn't be expecting to get away with the whole lot. Oh, another thing you can do that I really like, and one of the reasons why I got it, is that you can annotate PDFs. Or I wanted a machine that could do that. I didn't know Xournal could do that at the time. Oh, look, you can see. I've already been doing that. But this allows you to do that because you have a pen. So let's say if you have a PDF or something that you go back to a lot, you can draw on it, right? And then you can write your notes, whatever, read later. And then you can highlight like that. So you can highlight important pieces of information that you really want to obviously highlight. And then once you're done making your edits, then you can go and you can export it as a PDF. And then you can save it and share it or do whatever you want with it. And I do like that a lot. It is very neat. So those are just some things that I like to use it for, specifically the tablet part. Oh, actually, you know what? I totally forgot. You can use this with GIMP or Krita. So I'll show you with GIMP real quick what it might look like. I would say it is, it's okay. I'd say it fares a little better with GIMP or Krita than it does with Xournal, because it's a little these programs are a little more dedicated to something like that. All right, so with this, GIMP works a little bit better. You'll want to go, let's see if I can show that. If you press your paintbrush tool, you have some options, and you can go to dynamics and pressure dynamics. I go with basic dynamics, and that seems to work pretty well. You can move it like that. So yeah, so let's see. I'm gonna draw very now, since this is older technology, it kind of doesn't always track that well. So if you do a very, very light touch, it actually just doesn't even register anything. So you do have to put a little bit of pressure, not a whole lot, but a little bit. I would say this is about as light as it gets with this pen. Now, of course, it does depend on your paintbrush settings and a few other things, how you have it set up. But just out of the box, this is kind of what it looks like. So let me see if I can draw something and go a little bit harder. See, so that's kind of what it looks like. GIMP is okay as far as the pen is concerned. I think Krita works a little bit better because Krita is definitely more dedicated, more geared towards having a tablet and having a thing like that. And then since this is Wacom, it works a little bit better. But yeah, with the SSD, it loads relatively quickly. I don't really have any issues about waiting or feeling like it's taking a long time. So let's make a new file. So this is a 1600 by 1200 file that I'm going to create. So let's keep that in mind. I would say the processor doesn't really limit it in the tests and in the things that I've been doing. It's okay. See, now Krita has much better tracking of the stylus. Let's see if I can really show that to you there. Okay. I would say that the pen definitely works a lot better. So if you're trying to get a machine that has a built-in touch, well, so this isn't a touchscreen. Let me make that clear. So I can't do anything with my finger. I have to use the stylus. But if you wanted a computer that you could fold up and actually draw on, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Now, I don't know how it's going to handle multiple layers and drawing on it all the time, since this only has a dual-core processor. It's a Core 2 Duo that runs at 1.8 gigahertz. This model has 4 gigabytes on it, so I definitely have the memory to spare, and so that's okay. Again, I'm no super artist, and I don't do anything dedicated like that, but I would say if you're going to do some drawings, well, actually, you could do really advanced drawings on this. The tracking, I mean, works pretty well with Krita, I would say. And sometimes if you draw really long lines, or actually, you'll notice that this is pretty instantly drawn. There's not really any lag. Even this Core 2 Duo can still handle, I'm still making this one continuous line here. It's still handling this file, or this, that, I don't know what you'd call it, recognition, I guess. Now, Krita, you do have some extra tools. You can kind of blend stuff. Now, one thing I will note is that once you get around the edges, the tracking gets a little funny. So you'll want to stay probably where the white part of this canvas is. That's probably where you want to stay. If you get anywhere too near the top, it starts to kind of, actually you can probably see it right there. It like jumps. Of course, I'm going off the screen, but yeah, I would say with Krita it works pretty well. I'm not, oh, here comes a train. I'm not super duper knowledgeable about Krita, but I'd say this is working out pretty well. Let's do some more colors here. So yeah, I think it works pretty well, considering that this came out almost 10 years ago. It works pretty well. Now, would I still recommend this? It depends. I would say this computer has a somewhat limited use case. if you want something that is light, something that you can carry around with you, something that has pretty good battery life, I think this is a good choice. Also the fact that it's a tablet and you can draw with it or on it, that's pretty cool. I do like that. Handling basic things like browsing the web, watching YouTube videos. I can watch YouTube videos, 60p YouTube videos, perfectly fine. I can't really watch 1080, well, for a few reasons, because it doesn't have a 1080p screen. I can actually watch 1080p videos that are 1080p, not obviously in 1080p, but they play perfectly fine. There's no stuttering. Actually, but 1080p 60p videos, or with 60 frames a second, it does start to stutter and slow down a little bit and kind of becomes not usable. But otherwise it works perfectly fine. Streaming things is okay. I haven't upgraded the network card and I get pretty good network speeds. Yeah, so I would say it's definitely very capable. Obviously I didn't show the full capabilities. Mostly this was talking about the pen because that was something that I was curious about and how functional that would be. But yeah, if you want me to make any more videos about this tablet, I can. Or do some more tests with whatever programs. I actually didn't show this, but I do have the dock that comes with this. I bought it sealed, and it did come with the key. So that was one cool thing. But yeah, if you want me to make another video about this, just drop a comment, let me know, and I'll see what I can do.